I would like to begin by asking you, what is the situation in Gaza? Tell us about um, the conflict.
Well, the Gaza situation is extremely difficult. It's nothing new. It's set off by the rocketing against Israel civilian populations in the south initially, um, 3 or 4 days ago that started by Hamas and other groups under Hamas's wing in Gaza. And as you know, Gaza is ruled by the terrorists, by Hamas movement, which is split off from the Palestinian Authority, which is up in the West Bank. And the Gaza people set up their own autonomous government as a result of a kind of coup d'etat against Abbas and the Palestinian Authority. So periodically they try to kill Jews, is I guess how else would one put it. What is the point of this rocketing? It's simply to probably in some sense politically among their supporters show that they are firm in rejecting Israel's right to exist, and they commit war crimes by the UN's own definition. You fire on civilian populations, number one, which is a war crime, which violates not only the human rights of the people that you attack and wound and murder, but it is outlawed by the rules of war in the Geneva Convention. But they commit a second war crime because they in fact place their military equipment, basically rockets and mortars, in civilian installations within mosques, theaters, homes, and that also is outlawed according to the rules of war. So you have a general aggression which is illegal and breaks international law, complicated by the violation of international law, Geneva Convention. No society on earth would just sit there and let them fire at their civilian populations. At some point, Israel has to defend itself, period.
Given that Israel is reacting, and some critics have said that even might be overreacting, how is Israel's reaction seen in the Arab world?
Well, I don't think Israel is overreacting. If anything, Israel has been extremely careful. It has been patient. It has waited. How has the Arab world reacted to that? On the so-called Arab street, with great joy, great happiness, support for Hamas. Is always the question one asks in these circumstances: why now? Why did this rocketing begin last week? One reason may be that the Hamas people or the Islamic Jihad radicals who are in Gaza felt, again, empowered by Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt and figure they can get away with this. Or there may be a calculation that they can suck the Egyptians into conflict with Israel, and that this would, in fact, be a serious situation for Israel. And of course, Iran is a major supplier of arms to Hamas in Gaza and to Hezbollah in Lebanon. And the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, announced last week that they have information that Iran is increasing the number of centrifuges making uranium, and that their calculation now is that the Iranians will have enough uranium for a weapon, or more than one weapon, within 3 months. 3 months, say it's November, December, January, February, or the spring, by the spring at the latest. So of course this is a fact that Israel has to deal with. The situation in Gaza may be a diversionary tactic to take Israel's attention off Iran at a moment when Iran is moving towards weapon. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Israel is quite focused, quite capable of waging war on two fronts in this regard. Why the situation? What are its implications for the wider conflict? Then there's the Syria conflict, which is getting worse. And you may have noticed last week that all of a sudden Syrian government mortar shells are falling on the Golan Heights. And Israel has responded in 2 or 3 incidents where they fired back at the tanks. Is this an accident? Is it simply because the rebels are close to the border of the Golan and the government is firing at them? Or is it an attempt to create another front and to perhaps draw Israel in and from the point of view of Assad in Syria, take the world's attention off his suppression of his own people. Now, calculations are now over 40,000 deaths of Syrians at the hands of its own government. Well, another interesting dimension here is the immediate clamor in the international community, so-called, and in much of the media, for Israel to stop doing what it's doing. Israel should relent. Israel shouldn't invade. Israel, and if there are civilian deaths or are claimed by the Hamas, you have to discount their claims, but they're claiming 100 civilians have died, and the result, probably half that number, and 3/4 or more of them are actual militants, terrorists, right, fighters. But where is the world community on Syria? Why have they allowed 40,000 people to be killed in 18 months? Where is their concern? Okay. The Americans use drones in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and we know that the drones are killing hundreds of people, including civilians. Where is the UN? Where is the world outcry on this? Why is it always focused on Israel? Israel is aggressed, international law is broken, and the world puts pressure on Israel to stop defending itself. So, I mean, yes, this is an old story, there's nothing new here, but it's important to point it out. There is a double standard always when it involves the Jewish state.
What do you think are some of the long-term solutions regarding the Gaza crisis?
I don't think there are very good long-term solutions. If this were World War II or the Korean War and there was aggression, the way you deal with it is to move your army forward and to eliminate the aggressors, right? You didn't negotiate with the Nazis in World War II. The Allies announced there's going to be no negotiation until final victory. And the way you dealt with the Nazis was to destroy them. The right to exist and to defend ourselves from unending Islamic anti-Semitic aggression. So it is concerning. All of this is very concerning. I don't want to see tiny Israel having to go on its own to deal with the Iranians and whatever else may come, because if you attack Iran, some of the Arab states may get involved, right? And Hezbollah may start sending off its rockets. And who knows? It's very unstable. Where's Turkey in all of this? Under Erdogan, Turkey is increasingly an Islamist state, Sunni, but Islamist. And he's functionally a kind of authoritarian ruler. Turkey has one of the least free presses in the whole world, but nobody knows about it. The media don't report on this. So, again, very deep crisis. Something is coming. As Yeats put it, some kind of rough beast is slouching towards Bethlehem. And we'll have to see what it is and how Israel will react.